one last question, I guess. What do you feel? How do you feel about like these, these authors, wrestling authors, going on and writing about all these books now about the whole Benoit tragedy and really, kind of, I guess, demonizing the wrestling industry and stuff.
Well, all I would like to say is that there's people that, they have an obligation, or I hope anyway, an obligation of at least writing the truth about wrestling and try to write from a historical standpoint. So when you're reading a book and you're reading that's going to tell you all about the best wrestlers of the 60s or something, you're going to read it, then it's really going to tell you about the best wrestlers of the 60s. It's not some, glorified piece that somebody just makes up in his head and goes, okay, I'm just going to make up 60 wrestlers or the favorite wrestlers of all time. It's like, there's a lot of people that are experts on wrestling that have no idea on what being an expert. Like, there's no qualifications to be an expert. And that's my beef, is that I don't mind anyone writing about wrestling, but don't declare yourself some kind of historian, or, like everything you say is true, because based on what? Like, who knows more about wrestling than the wrestlers? So if you're going to do a legitimate, honest piece about who the great wrestlers are, at least, don't BS the fans. Give them a real book about who the great wrestlers were. And then wrestlers will endorse it and say, like, that's a good book, or this is... Like the guy that wrote a book about Stampede Wrestling up in Calgary. Wrote a really good book. Took time and researched it, and wrote an honest book. And then there's guys like Greg Oliver that write a bunch of crap. They don't know any more than you guys do. But they're writing it like they're historians. And I have a problem with that. Dave Meltzer is the only legitimate, honest, he's the source in wrestling. I don't rate anyone else next to Dave Meltzer. He's the best.
When it came down to the later years of the Hart Foundation, the actual faction, what was your favorite thing about going into the building? Getting the pop of the cheers from the Canadian fans, or the pop of boos from the American fans?
It was kind of a high of doing both. They kind of went hand in hand. It was quite remarkable. Never been done since, I don't think, and never done before. But to have them hate you so much 1 minute, and then have them love you so much the next, and then switch it back just like every day, they just like get beamed down to a different planet, and just the whole concept of being loved and hated was so extreme at that time that it was for a guy that did it for 23 years. That was probably the most fun experience I ever had. What's that?
What's your favorite beer?
Canadian. Canadian beer. That's the brand.
Did you get a chance to watch the movie The Wrestler, and if you did, what do you think?
Yeah, I watched the movie The Wrestler. I thought it was really good. The acting was really good, and the directing and all that was really good. But I don't think it actually captures what wrestling's all about. I think what disappointed me, and maybe, is I had a lot of respect for what they accomplished in the movie, and the movie's not that dishonest of a portrayal of wrestling as some of us might want to believe or wish. There's a lot of truths in that movie, but there's also bigger truths in what that movie represented. It's not, the wrestlers that are dying today are dying for real. And that movie never went near any of that, like the real issues that wrestlers have with pain and drugs. They kind of simplified it. It's kind of based everything around. I think the Mickey Rourke character was basically a steroid freak. That guy that was taking steroids, but he never worked out in a gym. So there's a lot of things. Like I watched Mickey Rourke, how he taped up his elbow. He taped it up like such bullshit. Like nobody would ever tape their elbow up if they were going to actually want to fight like that. It just made me go, it's not credible. I know he's a great actor, but put a little oomph into it. Try to at least make it. Like wrestlers, these guys back here, they really do tape their wrists and tape their knees up because they have to. And then when you watch an actor just tape him up like it's bullshit, you know, that's bullshit.
That's awesome. All right,
So I liked it, but it had its flaws.
Couple more guys, because we gotta have a cold beer when I get done here.
Besides the Hart Foundation, what do you think was better, Legion of Doom or Demolition?
Oh!
Some say Legion of Doom, some say Demolition. In your opinion, what do you think?
Well,
Both out.
Demolition were probably better workers, but the Legion of Doom were probably the most sort of special team of all time in wrestling. I don't think anyone. They were, like you talk tag team wrestling, Crusher and Crusher, what was that the guy? Bruiser, yeah. You know, you can think of different teams through the years, but none of them stand out like Hawk and Animal. It's like they were always, you know, if you wanted to tell someone about a tag team and you showed them a picture of the Legion of Doom or the Road Warriors, that sort of says it all. You know, there's no team that ever looked more impressive in a picture anyway. Capture a period of time in wrestling or tag team wrestling better than those guys.
In your opinion, who's the best female wrestler of your time or now?
Well, I used to tell guys for a long time if they want to learn, guys used to come up to me and say, you throw a punch. You throw such great punches. I think I did throw some pretty good punches. But, I used to tell them, I said, if you want to learn how to throw a punch, watch Scary Sherry. I'll say that to you now. If you want to learn, if you're a young wrestler, you want to learn how to punch, go back and watch how Scary Sherry used to throw a punch. She threw a punch better than most of the wrestlers today. But there was some great wrestlers, lady wrestlers. I mean, I've been around all the time. You know, watched Penny Banner and Moolah and all these guys forever. Which I was never a big fan of lady wrestling. Most of the time, most of the time they look like waitresses at a Denny's or something. Exactly, hot-looking babes in my time. And you know, they drag each other around by the hair and throw each other around. I didn't really get off on that too much. So. But as you know, back in the '90s when they started looking better. Sable wasn't so hard to watch wrestling. She didn't know anything. So I think the lady wrestlers definitely got prettier over the years. But today it's a whole different thing. The lady wrestlers are better wrestlers than the guys. I think a lot of them are working way harder than the guys. Not necessarily divas, but some of the lady wrestlers like Melina as an example.
Yeah.
They work really hard out there every night. They're really innovative and they come up with stuff and they do stuff that nobody's been doing. And when they're doing their moves, you don't know what's going to happen next. And that's great wrestling.
One more, guys. Go ahead, buddy.
Did you spend all your money that you made from BTW?
No, I didn't spend all of it, but I'm looking forward to spending the rest of it anyway. You.
Go ahead. What's your feeling on midget wrestlers? We have one in the back, lay Emperor.
I was always partial to midgets. All right, well, nice talking with you guys.